Hey babe, welcome back to the Sweetfire Soul Revival YouTube channel. I'm Jo, your host as always, and I am so excited that you're here. So, it is Halloween. And that's exciting because it's my favorite time of the year. So, what I wanted to do for you today was a Samhain spread and forecast for the year ahead. So, I'm really excited about this. So, oddly enough, I really tried to keep it simple. Like, I typically pull 4 cards, 5 cards, whatever. I don't usually do giant spreads. But for all but one prompt, we had 2 cards come flying out of the deck, which is interesting, and they are fucking on point. So, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just going to get started already. So, our first prompt is really about what do we need to release moving forward? What is coming to a close right now? And our card is the 5 of Cups. So it's really time to stop mourning the past. Stop mourning things that maybe didn't come to fruition the way you wanted them to, or didn't work the way you wanted them to. Leave those things behind. We often feel like we need to hold on to these things. We feel like the disappointment needs our attention. It needs to be present. Like, we need to always be holding space for it. And the thing is that there is a time and place for that. Absolutely. There's definitely a time to feel that disappointment or that discouragement. We as humans can't help it, especially if we're trying to reach a goal or trying to go after our dreams or make our lives better. And when things don't work out the way that we want them to, that really throws us off. And it's understandable. But it's time to fucking move on. You're looking at these cups that are spilled. There's nothing in them. And so in the traditional Rider-Waite tarot, it's a man, you can see his back, and there's 3 spilled cups in front of him and 2 full ones behind him. And what is the point of holding on to what is gone? What is the point of holding on to the feelings of disappointment or discouragement or upset or whatever it is over those cups that are spilled, right? And so I kind of really love this card as well because you can see the top 3 skulls. The flowers in there, they're dying, they're kind of blah. They're not really as big and full and tall as the 2 on the bottom. And the thing is that why would you want to water a dead plant? If it's dead, why keep watering it? Why? There's no point. Plant a new seed or go buy a new potted plant, right? Like, there's no point in watering something that is dead. Instead of using that water, using that nourishment, taking that time and energy to pour water over something that is dead, why not use that nourishment and energy and time into the new seeds? Put it into what is coming. Put it into what you want. Because here's the thing. It's this or something better. Always. And the 5 of Cups really tells us, like, there is that space that we hold for the things that didn't work the way we wanted them to, or the opportunities that we feel like we didn't get, or the things we feel like we didn't get to do. Whatever the case is, there is that space that we hold. But do we need to hold on to it forever? We really don't. Because think of it like this. If your closet is full of old things, how can you put in the new stuff? If you go out and buy a whole new wardrobe, but your closet is completely full of the old stuff, how are you going to fit the new stuff in there? So it's really time to let go, cut the ties of all of those things, all of those people and relationships. Sever those. You don't need to hold on to it just because it was at one point important. You can honor that, absolutely, and be grateful for that time. But you don't always have to look back. You don't always have to bring it up. It doesn't have to be at the forefront of everything. Don't let those 3 spilled cups be what you're focusing on, because there's 2 completely full ones right in front of you. But it's just a matter of you shifting your focus from what has been to what is. So it's time to release what has been, because honey, you don't live in the past. Your right now is what matters. So what can you let go of right now in order to make room for the abundance and for the new things to flourish, right? So release the old. Release what's not working. Release the ties that you have to things that don't feel good anymore. We force ourselves so often to continue doing this, that, or the other thing because it's the practical thing or because it's what's expected of us. But honey, fuck that. Whatever. Do what feels good to you. There's no sense in doing things that don't feel good to you. What is the point of that? Right? So let it go. Let it go. Next, I pulled cards on where we can make the biggest change in order to see more positive things come into our lives. Where can we make changes for the better? And we have the 7 of Swords and the 4 of Wands. What are you hiding from yourself? What are you hiding from others? It's like we have all these hats that we wear or these masks that we put on in different situations or around different people or whatever. And the thing is that it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to be this for that person or that for that person. Who are you? Dig deep. The 7 of Swords is really asking you, stop fucking around on the surface. Stop fucking playing games. Let's get down to it. Who are you? And what is your purpose here? And it's not about asking yourself, well, what is the point? Or feeling like, oh, well, I don't know what my purpose is, so What am I missing? This is really, the whole purpose of this experience here on earth is for us to experience. It's for us to discover, not to hide away, not to repress, not to shame. Have the full experience. So, take a look at, and this is the perfect fucking time to do shadow work, take a look at what it is that you're running from. What are you hiding from? What things do you refuse to face? Because there's something. There always is, and that's okay. The point is not to judge whether or not we have faced it, or why we haven't, if we haven't, or how long it's been. This is really asking you to just stop where you are right now and ask yourself, am I being true to me? Not to my partner or my family or my friends or other people who hold expectations of me. Am I being true to me? Because if you're not being true to you, then you're not really being true to any of those other people. You have to be true to yourself first. Because if you're not, then you're always going to be lying. And I don't mean lying in a negative connotation like, oh, you're a liar. But you're always going to have that feeling of not enough. It's never going to feel good because you are not being you. And so the Seven of Swords is asking you, like, where is it that you may not be telling the truth? Where in your life is it that you're hiding things or repressing things or feel shame over things? Where are you not dealing with all of those things? Because when you get to the root of those things, you empower yourself. You free yourself. No one else can hold power over you if you're already giving yourself that power. If you're already saying, you know what, I own this. This is me. This stuff right here, this is mine. I'm not perfect. We're all a work in progress. But no one can hold anything over me because I own myself and all the things that go with that. And the Four of Wands is saying, celebrate the fuck out of your life. Like, stop hiding who you are, what you want, who you want to be, what you want to have, what you want to do. Stop hiding and really celebrate it. Because when we're in that place of fear, when we feel like, oh, I don't want so-and-so to know those things about me, or I don't want this to ever get out, or I don't want to ever turn and face this thing because it was so terrible, then we give fear that power over us. We relinquish our own power and we say, oh, well, nope, here, let me delegate this out to fear. And then we're afraid of what other people are going to say. We're afraid of what other people are going to think. But who fucking cares? None of it is any of their business anyways. It has nothing to do with them. So, instead of holding on to that fear, instead of letting that fear take the reins, or letting that fear be the driving force, celebrate it. Own it. Because when you can celebrate it and when you can own it, you can say, you know what? Yep, this is me. Take it or fucking leave it. You have the power. You empower yourself. So why not do the work around that? If it's going to yield you a significantly better experience, if your life is going to change for the better, if you do this, if you own who you are, why would you wait? Why would you not want that? Don't give anybody else the power over you, because it's your life, it's your experience. You get to choose. And you can keep choosing over and over and over again. You don't just get one choice or two choices. You can choose every moment of every day. So you can choose to stay small, and you can choose to live in your shadow. Or you can choose to step up and own it all and say, you know what? Yes, this is me, and I love every single part of myself. Even the things that maybe other people wouldn't love. The only thing that's important is that I do. Right? So, where can you stand in your own power? Where can you stand in your own truth? What work do you need to do around those shadow aspects or around your ego? Okay. So, next, I pulled cards on how we can make 2019 even better than 2018, and how can we really bring in and call into our lives everything that is meant for us, all of the good things that are going to come to us in 2019. And unsurprisingly, we have the Star. And we have the Ace of Pentacles. You can call in new beginnings. You're being handed a seed or multiple seeds. The universe is saying, here you go. Here is what you need. But what are you going to do with it? And the Star is really saying, have faith in yourself. Believe in yourself. Know that no matter what, everything is always happening for your highest good. Even if it doesn't seem like that in the moment. Even if you're sitting there thinking, how the fuck is this good? There is a lesson. There is something to be learned. There is a tool to be gained from everything that happens for you. Because remember, life isn't happening to you. It's happening for you. So if the universe is handing you, the seed is handing you this toolbox filled with everything you will ever need, but you're not going to use it, that's not the fault of the universe, right? You are your only setback. You are the only one that is holding you back. There is nothing that can override your own personal free will. So instead of holding that Seven of Swords energy, why not embody the Star? Or even the Four of Wands, why not say, this is who I am, this is what I want, this is me. This is what I want for my life. These are the things I desire to do and be and have. Believe in those things. We feel like we have to make excuses, or we have to, I don't even know, like, want to be or do or have these incredibly fucking profound things. And it doesn't have to be as complicated as all that, as all that. Like, Get behind your why. If you want something, ask yourself, well, why do I want this? So if you want $100,000 a year, but you're like, oh no, my job doesn't pay me that, and I don't know how else I would make that kind of money, ask yourself, well, why do I want this? I want this so that I can feel supported, so that I can do good work, so that I can support myself and my community and my family and give back and be generous. There's your fucking why right there. And none of that is selfish. And we have this idea that if we want something, especially when it comes to fucking money and material wealth, we feel like the more we want, the greedier we are. And so we really put ourselves in this place of, oh, but I really want that. And yet we hold ourselves back. We say, oh, well, that's too greedy. Or, oh, well, rich people aren't good people. They're not generous. And so how could you ever possibly allow yourself to be a rich person, a wealthy person monetarily, if you feel in a negative way about people who have money? You will never override your free will. You will never override that subconscious belief unless you fucking change it. So if the universe is handing you this toolbox with everything that you need, and you're just looking at it like, oh, I don't know how to use those things, start. Like, open the box. Start taking things out. Look at what you have already, because the thing is that you have all of the answers. You have all the tools you'll ever need right now. But if you're not going to use them, you're always going to find an excuse for why. Well, I don't have this because blah. Or I can't do that because blah. Like, fucking stop holding on to your excuses. Stop arguing for your fucking limitations. And instead, open yourself up to the belief that you can have, be, and do anything that you put your mind to, anything that you want, as long as you fucking believe it. That's all it takes. And it's not just a matter of, oh, well, I'm going to sit and do nothing and just believe that this is going to happen for me. Because then subconsciously, it's not really a belief. And there's a difference between believing something and trying to convince ourselves. Trying to convince yourself isn't really going to solidify a belief. So, rather than trying to convince yourself, why not change the beliefs? Why not look at what you believe, and when you see those negative beliefs, say, isn't that interesting? I wonder why I believe that. Is it true? No, it isn't. So what do I believe instead? What can I believe instead? Because the thing is that a belief is just a thought that a story that we've told ourselves over and over and over and over again. And it's so ingrained in us at this point, and our beliefs really form when we're young. But it's so ingrained in us in this point that we have to work just a little harder to shift things, to create the new neural pathways. And if you're not willing to put in the work, then you're just affirming the lack. Then you're saying, oh, well, I'm going to tell myself that I believe it, but I'm not willing to do anything for it or about it. And it's just as bad as letting the toolbox sit there. Even though you have everything you need, you're just going to let it sit there without really stepping up and saying, you know what? The one thing in this life that I do have control over is me. My actions, my thoughts, my words, my emotions. So if that's what I have control of in this world, how can I use that for my advantage? How can I shift my perspective? How can I change my beliefs in order to really utilize all of these things I've learned, all of these tools that I have to my utmost advantage? How can I step into my power and not just step into it, but fully act from that place, be empowered in all of my actions, all of my thoughts, all of the things that I say? And it doesn't always happen overnight, right? Like, change isn't as simple as snapping your fingers and suddenly it's different. But it can happen quickly if you really want it to. But if you're going to fall back into those old things, fall back into that Seven of Swords or that Five of Cups energy and say, oh, well, no, it's just not for me, then the only person holding you back is you. I mean, really, the only person holding you back is you always anyways. So knowing that, why would you want to keep holding yourself back? So why not take that energy of the star and say, you know what? I fucking believe in myself. I can do and be and have anything that I want. Because that's what I'm here for. That's what this whole experience is all about. So, how can I embody that every single day? How can I do that? So, think about that as we move into the rest of the year and into the beginning of next year. Because having this energy, embodying this energy, acting from this place is going to get you a lot farther than you think it is. I promise you. So, our last pair of cards is, I asked if there was any additional messages from Spirit. Of course. We have the Wheel of Fortune. And the Hangman. The cycle is over. So, if we're at this new beginning, what do we want to bring with us? So think about it like a suitcase. I mean, like when you pack before you go on vacation, you think about, okay, well, where am I going? What's the weather like? Right? And you pack accordingly. How many days am I going to be there? All of that shit. So this next cycle is just like that. It's a new adventure. And you have this empty suitcase, right? So if you go into your closet and you dig out your suitcase and you find that you hadn't unpacked from your last trip and you dump out all your stuff, now you have this empty suitcase. What are you going to put in it for this new adventure? What are you going to go forward with? Are you going to open up that suitcase and be like, oh, I didn't unpack from last time, I guess I'll just take this? I mean, I guess you could, obviously. It's your choice. But would you rather do that? Or would you rather take everything out and say like, oh, I actually don't even like or need or want this anymore. This doesn't even fit me. I'm going to get rid of it. And now I have this empty suitcase that I can put all these things in that I actually want to take with me. So the Wheel of Fortune is really saying like, shit or get off the pot, yo. Like, I mean, you can stay here forever in this cycle going around and around and around in circles. And that is your ultimate choice. If that's what you wish to do with your time and energy, great. I mean, there's no right or wrong. It's only what you choose. So, knowing that, Do you want to stay in the cycle? Do you want to keep this perpetuating? Do you want to keep doing what you've been doing and wishing that things were better? Or do you want to get off the fucking Ferris wheel and go get on a different ride? No one is stopping you. And the Hanged Man is really saying, like, it's time to change your perspective. Because if you feel like you've been trapped, if you feel like you're stuck on this Ferris wheel and you can't get off, that is a lie. You can get off whenever you want. And anybody that tells you otherwise is lying to you. Even if that's what you're telling yourself, it is a lie. You can do whatever you want to do. And like I said, there is no right or wrong. It's only what you choose, and what you choose is right for you no matter what, because it's your choice. So if you feel like you've been stuck on this, like you've been repeating all these things over and over and over again, you don't understand why, evaluate that. Why am I still in the same place? Why do I still keep getting into these same circumstances or situations? Why do I still feel like this? Why haven't I progressed? Oh, because I'm holding myself back, because I tell myself that I can't, because I tell myself that it has to be this way. How can I change that perspective? And so embody that hangman energy, and rather than trying to force, or rather than trying to just surrender in the traditional idea of surrender, as in giving up and just saying, oh, well, it's not in my control, I can't do anything about it. Change your perspective about what surrender means. Sometimes surrender just means flow. Sometimes it means, you know what, I'm really tired of fighting this fight, of fighting against the current. I'm just going to go with it and see where it takes me, because I can then maneuver and get myself to where I want to be if I just go with this. I'm going to let the current take me. And in doing so, I'm not fighting against it anymore. And things don't have to be as hard as I was making them, ever, at all. If I go with it, then I can say, okay, you know what? I'm going to get out over here. Or I'm going to swim a little bit this way instead of that way, or whatever. But you're not fighting against it anymore. And so surrender sometimes just means asking for guidance and saying, you know what, I really don't fucking know what to do. Please help me, show me the way, make it easy, make it obvious. And the universe will fucking deliver for you. But if you're so busy looking at all of the shit that sucks or doesn't work, or how disappointed you are, what the fuck ever, then how could you ever expect to see those signs? How could you ever expect to see or hear the guidance that you've asked for if you're so stuck in that 5 of Cups or in that 7 of Swords, right? So it's time to change your perspective, and it's time to get out of those cycles. And I mean, we couldn't have gotten a better spread, honestly. Like, these cards are so good, and they just reiterate the message over and over and over and over again, that if you just let it be easy and decide it gets to be easy, and decide that you are worthy and enough just as you are, and that you don't have to hide or give anybody else your power, then you empower yourself. Then you can stand in your own power. Then you can stand and say, you know what? I'm not afraid or driven by fear or what other people think or what other people have to say about me, because it doesn't fucking matter. Because it's none of their business. So think about this and see what ways you can change your perspective. What beliefs can you work on improving and getting rid of? How can you embody the person that you really want to be? Because when you do that, then everything can flow to you so much easier, and it doesn't have to be a struggle. So, I hope you enjoyed all of this. It was so much fun to read for you. I absolutely love it. These cards were fucking amazing. This is the Marigold tarot deck, by the way, and I will link where I bought them from below. So if you have questions, I'm here for it. Let me know, and I will talk to you soon. I love you. Bye.